Page 6 of unit conversions. So first of all, there's a note which says, in our class, currency should be given with 2 decimal places unless otherwise stated. For example, 153 reais and 99 cents or centavos, not 154 reais. Okay? So basically, whenever you see a currency, go ahead and give 2 decimal places. There's some currencies don't have decimal places, like for example the Japanese yen. A yen is like a penny, so it doesn't make any sense to give decimal places because the yen is already like the smallest unit possible. So now we're going to start looking at conversion of currency, and this is maybe the most useful part of the unit, and it's also maybe the most difficult part. Maybe not on this page, but later. So pay close attention. I'm going to try to give you ways so that you'll remember it for a really long time. Ways to think about it so that you're not memorizing, you're thinking about it, okay? So first of all, we got this problem with a family in Malaysia receiving a gift of $3,500 from a cousin living in America. The money was converted to Malaysian ringgit. 1 ringgit can be changed for 0.3236 US dollars. How many ringgits the family received? Okay, so if you did the domino investigation, you know, or if you remember how to do conversions from chemistry or physics, the way you're going to do this is you're going to make kind of a domino. The domino is going to have a top and a bottom, okay? So basically, in a domino, in the top and the bottom of the domino, you're going to have equal amounts, but in different currencies. So for example, they gave us an exchange. The exchange they gave us is 1 ringgit. I don't know what the symbol is for ringgit, but let's say it's R. 1 ringgit can be exchanged for 0.3236 dollars, US dollars. Okay? So we might use this domino where dollars is on the bottom. And the other possibility is we use this domino where dollars is on top and ringgits is on the bottom. So which domino are we going to use to do the conversion? Well, this is a method you can use to not get confused on the exam, because it's really easy to forget methods where you just memorize stuff, okay? So I have $3,500, okay? And maybe to make it a little bit easier so that we're always using units which come at the end of the number, I'll put USD like they did for US dollars. USD. Okay? So we'll put that we have 3,500 USD. Okay? And we want to multiply it times one of these dominoes so that instead of having USD in the answer, we're going to have ringgits in the answer. So how are we going to do that? What we need to do is we need to divide by a USD amount so that the USDs cancel out, and ringgit on top so that ringgit will be left over. So which one of the dominoes would it be? It would be this one, because US dollars is on the bottom here. So I'm going to put 3236 US dollars on the bottom so that the US dollar units cancel out, and I put 1 ringgit on top. And all I need to do now is multiply out the numbers. So I turn on the calculator. I do 3,500 times 1, but I don't need to do times 1. 3,500 times 1. Times 1 is the same number. Now I'm going to divide by 0.3236. 0.3236. You really need to be careful about where you put parentheses, where you need parentheses, and we'll talk about that in a few problems when it gets really hairy, okay? So the answer is 10815, 10815.82. Why didn't I put the other 2 there? Because when you work with currency in math studies, and mostly in the real world, you want to round so that you just have the centavos, or the cents here. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Now I'm assuming that ringgits are like dollars where it has cents, but that's what they told me to do. Okay? Number 2, Joseph is spending a year traveling from America to France and Britain. Here are the exchange rates. So, from these exchange rates, I can make dominoes, okay? And let's see which direction the dominoes are going to go in. Joseph changes 500 US dollars into euros. So, I start with 500 US dollars. I'm going to multiply it times a domino, where the top and the bottom are the same amounts. Of course, on the bottom, I would like to have US dollars so that the US dollars cancel out. On the top, I would like to have euros, because euros is what they want. So, is there an exchange rate they give me with US dollars and euros? Sure there is. There's one right here. So I'm going to put 1 US dollar, and I'm going to put 0.783 euros, and I'm done. Now I just need to multiply it out. So I'm going to multiply the tops. There's a 500. There's a 0.783. And divide by 1. I don't need to divide by 1. Divide by 1 doesn't do anything. 391.50. 391.50 euros. Okay? Let's see. He spends 328 euros in France and changes the remainder into GBP. So this is like a lot of IB problems look like this one. So first I'm going to do 391.50 euros minus 328 euros to see how many euros he has left over after he has all that fun in France. It's going to be minus 328. The answer is 63.50. So 63.50 euros. Okay, but how many British pounds is he going to get back? Okay, so I'm going to change 63.50 euros into British pounds. What is my domino going to have in it? It's going to have euros on the bottom so that I can cancel out the euros. And on the top, I'm going to have GBP. Do I have an exchange rate between GBP and euros? Sure I do. It's right there. So 1 GBP and 1.172 euros. 1.172 euros. So let's figure that out. So we got 63.5 divided by, because I'm going to do 63.5 times 1 GBP, but times 1 doesn't do anything, so I'm not even going to do it. 1.172. And my answer is 54.18 GBP. And why did I stop at 1.8 instead of going on to 0.88? Because, remember, for math studies problems in currency, we just want to do the hundredths to the cents. Is this the last one on the page? It is. Okay, now we're going to get into the difficult part, okay? This is when you need to think a little bit instead of just memorizing a method, because I think it works better, okay? A lot of times they'll give you different rates of currency, and in real life this is how it works, okay? The bank is always going to take away money from you whether or not you are exchanging one way or the other. So you're not going to get the same exchange rate when you buy dollars or when you sell dollars to the bank or whatever. Okay? They're always going to like take a little bit off the top so that you're getting less or charge your commission or both. Okay. A bank in Canada offers the following exchange rate between Canadian dollars and euros. The bank sells 1 Canadian dollar for 0.821 euros. Bank sells. The bank buys 1 Canadian dollar for 0.758 euros. Okay. So most of the time, whenever they talk about rates and they say sell and buy, they're talking about from the point of view of the bank. Okay? So in this case, they're saying that the bank sells Canadian dollars for this exchange rate, and it buys Canadian dollars for this exchange rate. Okay? So I'm going to draw a little diagram. I'm going to draw the bank, and then I'm going to draw you. Okay? Or the customer. When the bank delivers some currency to you, they are selling the currency. When they take a currency from you, they are buying. Okay? So it's always from the point of view of the bank, because the bank only cares about himself. He's just a greedy, selfish guy, right? Okay. So this is pretty weird because we have two kinds of dominoes. We have a domino that has 0.821, right? And we have a domino that has 0.758, and we need to figure out when we're going to use each domino based on the transaction that's going on. Okay? So, let's see. A customer wishes to exchange 800 Canadian dollars for euros. Okay? Alright. So, if he's going to start with Canadian dollars and he's going to get euros, is the bank buying the Canadian dollars or is it selling the Canadian dollars? Well, you or the customer has 800 Canadian dollars. If the 800 Canadian dollars is going to the bank is buying the Canadian dollars. So if it's buying the Canadian dollars, we're talking about this exchange rate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change your 800 Canadian dollars or the customer's Canadian dollars into euros. In order to do that, we want a domino that has Canadian dollars in the denominator and euros in the numerator, right? Canadian dollars in the denominator and euros in the numerator. So which exchange rate are we using? We said we're going to use this one because in this case the Canadian dollars are going to the bank, and if the Canadian dollars are going to the bank, it's buy. So it's 0.758 euros. And the 0.758 goes on top because it's 0.758 euros and we want the euros on top. The 1 Canadian dollar goes on the bottom because the Canadian dollars need to cancel out with the Canadian dollars on top. So I'm going to multiply 800 times 0.758. And I get 606.4. So the answer is 606.40 euros. That's the answer to A. What about B? The customer has to cancel his trip and changes his money back later when the rates are sells blah blah blah, buys Canadian dollar blah blah blah. So use the sell information to find out how many Canadian dollars he receives. Okay, they're kind of giving us the answer because they're telling us to use sell, but we could figure that out for ourselves, right? Because when he cancels the trip, he's going to take the euros and then he's going to give them to the bank in exchange for Canadian dollars. So in this case, the Canadian dollars are going from the bank to the customer. When that happens, they are selling the Canadian dollars. So that means they're going to use this exchange rate, right? So we'll take the 606.40 euros and we're going to multiply it times a domino with euros on the bottom and Canadian dollars on top because we want to convert it to Canadian dollars. Now the exchange rate we're going to use is this one because we're going to use cells. They told us we're going to use cells and we reasoned through it and we saw that cells make sense. So we're going to put 0.835 euros on the bottom and we'll put 1 Canadian dollar on top. Okay? So now how do we multiply this out? We're going to multiply 606.4 times 1, but the 1 doesn't do anything, and we divide by 0.385. I'm trying to organize your multiplication and division so you don't have PEMDAS problems. So I recommend always to multiply across the top, and then do divide, 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 or to use parentheses. And I'll show you how to use parentheses too in case you prefer to do that. My answer, 726.23. 726.23 Canadian dollars. Do you see what happened? Even though he didn't spend any money, now he only has 726 instead of the 800 he started with. He lost money. What a shame. How many Canadian dollars has he lost on the transaction? So they want to know exactly how many he lost. So I'm going to subtract 800 minus 726.23. 800 minus 726.23. So I lost 73.77. Okay? That's it for page 6.